So after fucking with this for like hours, I have finally made one build. Now, the it's Archwizard and it's Warden. Both serve a purpose. For Archwizard, you'll notice that my affinity, those top three are like they are what make this build. Absolutely. Without those affinities at the percentage that they're at, this build doesn't happen. Among other things, but mainly that. So here we go. For Sage, you already know at 400 you can restore MP and refill your break gauge with potions. Super good. Elemental Force makes it to where I nullify all damage while guarding, which is also good, just depending on the boss, really. But it's still good to have nonetheless. And then, like all these bonuses and shit on top of that. Monk makes it to where you see we get increased break, which is always good. Vigor increases the duration of all buffs activated by a successful parry. So I would imagine that stuff like Protect, Shell, all that stuff, it will increase the duration of those every time I parry. And then Mantra just greatly increases the maximum HP, which is what you want for this class, because I can get hit pretty hard, and I need to have that health. For Knight, right now all we have is an additional stamina bonus to abilities that grant stat bonuses. So like if I cast Mighty Strikes down there, it would give me an additional stamina bonus, which in turn just converts to more break gauge, which is good, right? So that's those three. Then when you go to the smithy, this is why you need to go to the smithy. Yes, these are like low level compared to where I'm at right now, right? Like 200, like I'm above that. I'm doing like 250, 260 missions. But these, all those equipment effects I put on there and upgraded to the fullest personally. And so this is where your build really starts to take shape, because now you have equipment effects that you specifically need for whatever it is you're trying to do. As you can see on this one, non-elemental break damage dealt. That is specifically, like this whole thing, that intellect, which is just more magic damage, and MP recovery from Soul Shield. All that is specifically for using Ultima. Specifically for using Ultima. So if it was doing a lot of break gauge damage before, an extra 4% on top of that, heavy break damage. And that's kind of the whole gist of this entire build. Heavy break damage, no matter what I'm doing. If I'm using it correctly, I'm doing break damage, and it's a lot. And I also have a decent amount myself, so I don't have to worry as much with my gauge depleting as I would if it was just at like 1,000, because 184 might not seem like a lot, but it's a decent amount. Like it's a decent boost from the default, right? So I've done that with like all these. And as you can see, there's more soul shields, so you're definitely using that. We're reducing the break cost of the soul shield, increasing MP recovery from the soul shield on top of all that intellect. Let's see. More MP recovery rate with normal attacks, more MP with, you can see the trend here, right? So then you hit R2, you look at your special effects. If you look at soul shield MP recovery, it's 104.6%. So for Archwizard specifically, I should always have MP. Like always. And if I don't have MP, it should be so much easier to gain MP back and just continue doing what I'm doing. Like I said, it's all about heavy break damage. Period. Right? And that's just with this. Then you got Warden, which I also went through and did. And so for Warden, for 250, you get an additional strength bonus to all abilities that grant stat bonuses. So that's just more strength, which in turn is more attack power. So Mighty Strikes, I'm going to be getting whatever Mighty Strikes does for me, plus whatever additional bonus I get from this, right? Then Shadowbreaker increases damage dealt after a successful soul burst. So you knock their break gauge all the way down, hit circle, you smash them in a million pieces. That's your soul burst. So I get a damage boost from that. If I do that again, while that effect is active, it further increases that damage bonus. So this is just raw damage type shit, right? Knight, additional stamina bonus, which again converts to break. my own break gauge, which again is what we want here. We don't want to get, you don't ever want to get broken, like period, because that's leaves you wide open. So this makes it to where I just have even more stamina than what I have now. And then invincible grants immunity to enemy attacks while Lightbringer is active. Now this is a double-edged sword, because while it does grant complete immunity to any and every attack, whether it's physical, magical, or anything, it's only active as so long as that gauge is draining. And every time you get hit, it takes a decent chunk of that gauge from you. So this is really just good for getting in there, maybe have a teammate aggro, you know, real quick, and then I can get in from behind and get one really decent fully charged like combo off. And like I said, because you know you got Shin Zantetsuken up there, and so now I'm charging it from 3 to 4, and we already know the crazy fucking break damage that Zantetsuken does, right? So again, just about heavy break damage. This one I was trying to get to 400, but right now I have increases potency of MP recovery effects, which is something that probably would have helped a little bit better on my Sage, but I still have some recovery shit on here, so this will just help, period. And then this is what I wanted: greatly reduce the cost of command abilities. So if I'm right about this, I wouldn't even be using like a bar for like any of these. Like for Mighty Strikes, it only takes a bar, so I would imagine that I wouldn't even use a bar, maybe half a bar, maybe a quarter of a bar. I don't even know. It says greatly. But that's kind of something that I wanted to get. I'm almost there. I need like 27 or so more Void Knight affinity, which I'm sure I can get. I'm sure I could. But yeah, I mean, and then like, again, just going back into it, all these things, these equipment effects, I put on them, on these weapons and armor via the smithy, you know. So this entire build is about having a bunch of MP, using it, and then whether it's physically or whether it's magically, doing heavy break damage. That's this entire build. That's what the whole thing's about. And like I said, it took me hours to figure this one out to even do it like this. So there'll be more that I'll find out, I'm sure, because there's too much variety in this game, right? So I'll find something else that's even more as dope. But this is just like an example of the shit that you can do with just 2 classes, right? You know, that this is a really great example of what you can do, and you can just go from there. But yeah, that's it.